Hello, welcome to Mental Monday, the big friendly conversation about mental health. I'm Jake Symons. For the next 20 to 30 minutes, we'll be having a big friendly conversation about mental health and talking all things, kind of how the week's been, have a bit of a catch up. I know it's been a few weeks, actually, no, we're back on schedule now. We're back on schedule. We do this every 2 weeks to have a catch up on a Monday, talk about the weekends, get ready for the week ahead, I guess. And yeah, it's great to be here. I normally waffle on for a couple of minutes, let a few people join before we actually start the conversation. I'm just going to log into my YouTube dashboard quickly, check we're actually live. It's always something good to do. So yes, how are you? Many today and yesterday numbers of COVID here in the UK starting to rise. Is that building anxiety? It certainly is for me. I don't really, it's all going down now. It started to go up again. Obviously living with someone who's shielding, that's quite a concern. So definitely something. I'm just trying to find my YouTube channel. There I am. There, we are live. Cool. Right. Hopefully that's not too laggy. Yeah. Okay. So we are live. It's all working. Yeah. I have a lot of problems with YouTube's live dashboard, so, we are live. It is working. Good. So, let's get into it, shall we? We've been going on for about 2 minutes now. How's your week been? How's my week been? Alright, actually. Quite stressful. I'm still effectively unemployed, which is, wonderful. So, with COVID going up and, kind of with all the jobs basically being in London rather than, nearby, which is a shame. I've probably decided, too prematurely, but I don't really have a choice, to go all in with Waterdown, which is probably going to be one of the decisions I regret the most. And I'm just hoping that someone in like 10 years shows me this video and think that's the best thing you ever did. But I'm probably at this point, and I've set everything up, I'm going all in on Waterdown, which is my marketing agency. Try and build up a team and actually do marketing, and yeah. So that's kind of how last couple of weeks have been, setting everything up, website things, writing, outreach, working. So stressful, but I think the kind of busyness has helped in a way because it means I'm not thinking about the stress because I don't have time. So yeah, I'm okay-ish. I wouldn't say I'm fully okay. Certainly, like, kind of coming into this stage now, it's kind of getting a bit worse. But yeah, definitely still coping well, as well as can be better than expected anyway. So yeah, that's kind of how my week's been. I don't really feel, I mainly just get a bit depressed, which I just feel more in like my stomach, which is anxiety as well. But I just feel a bit heavy and a bit weighted down. So definitely something I haven't felt in a while. But the stress is kind of also met with the work, and I actually do like work. Something I enjoy is marketing, that's why I do it. But yeah, so actually having that, I guess, keeps me going because I'm not doing something I hate. But at the same time, I'm just kind of hitting a wall. So definitely concern. So a lot of feelings, which is normally weird because normally I've been going on here and all throughout lockdown I've been like, yeah, I'm fine, which I have been. I've just kind of been taking every day at a time during lockdown. But now it's like, all these feelings are back, and yeah, the feelings are back. Not quite sure how I feel about that, to be honest. I guess it's part of what I do and the way I feel kind of motivates me, especially when it comes to like mental health blogging and talking about what I'm feeling. I know I haven't blogged in a while, so yeah, still trying to take it a day at a time, but definitely more of a mixed bag this week in terms of feelings. Yeah. So anyway, how are we all? How is everyone coping? As I mentioned in the kind of intro, lockdown numbers are increasing now. So is that something that you're concerned by? Personally, I am living with someone who's shielding. That's my nan. So actually, that's quite worrying. Still going out to get a haircut though. That has been something as I'm going to be keep fiddling with this all episode, and it has been a big thing, especially when had no idea how to style it. So now this bit is as best as it can be, and this is just kind of at the back, just terrible. But hopefully we do manage to get a haircut, and it can all go short and back, which is meant to be back, but yeah, it just flops forward, so it mainly just goes like that because it's just easier for me. But hopefully we can get the hair done, which would be nice. Yeah, so still going out to do that. Still haven't actually been in a shop. I have been in a shop, but I haven't been in too many. I'm mainly still getting deliveries still. Because you don't spending like half hour in a supermarket, you're going around doing a week's shopping is probably not ideal. So yeah, definitely something. Still something we're playing cautiously, and I know that there's a lot of like talking about all the young people going out, and I'm like completely the opposite. I'm like one of the young people staying in and hearing about all these young people going out and seeing what my like friends are doing and going out, and I'm like, yeah, still inside. Still haven't been in a pub at all, or looking forward to actually eventually going in a local restaurant that's opened, so that would be nice to have some kind of normality, but still trying to balance that with the risk as well. So yeah, a lot of things are going on, mainly out of my control. So actually taking that back seat and saying it is what it is, let's just take one day at a time. I think I'm used to it now. I like having a sense of that control, that how I feel is going to be influenced by what I do, and now how I feel is being more influenced by like my inability to do anything, which is certainly weird for me, I guess. Obviously, I've never been in this position before to, pandemic, but still coping well. I'm still coping well with on the pandemic side. Definitely still coping. Still, it's a bit more anxiety, but I mean, when you're living with it every day, for me, I can't sustain that high level of anxiety. So I'm just used to having it in the back of my mind. Second peak. Someone could give you it, that kind of stuff. So it's definitely in the back of my mind, but I can't live rather with that sustained level of anxiety, so it just kind of goes away by itself, just into the back of my mind, which probably isn't the best thing. I think that's called bottling it up, which, as many of you know, is not the best way of doing it, but kind of has a natural tendency to happen. Is just everything just kind of gets bottled up. So at the moment, it's happily bottled. It will hopefully we can start releasing it soon. But we'll see. Obviously, your actual health does have to come first. So you do have to play that off with mental health, but then, it's that kind of balance, isn't it? Like, you still have to protect yourself, but then you have to protect yourself from your mental health, and it's kind of getting that balance right and finding what works. And at the moment, I have been, relatively okay with that balance. Probably deteriorating slightly at this point, but I mean, I'm coping alright. I'm happy with how I'm processing everything, how I'm like living day to day. I'm happy with that, and I seem to be coping quite well, which surprised me because I didn't think I would. I thought I'd have a resurgence of kind of how I felt before, especially like when I was younger, and so I've talked about. Obviously, I was a lot worse than I am now, and yeah, but we haven't gone back there, so that's good, really good for me anyway. So how have you found it? What's kind of been going on for you? Do let me know. Just do say how you've been. If you want to talk afterwards, my Twitter is at Jake S Writes, and my website is linked in the description, which is just my name, jakesymons.com. So you're welcome to check either of those two out. Yeah. It's bit different because normally before so yeah, before the just completely forgot what I was thinking then, just went. But yeah, obviously before the pandemic we weren't actually doing these. We started these for Mental Health Week, which was in May or March. It's May, isn't it? I should know that. I should know it. It was in May. Yes, it was in May, not March. I knew the month began with an M. Kind of perceptions of time seem to disappear in lockdown, especially when you're trying to think of the early days where every day was literally the same, from like March to, June, July. Every day was like the same. So actually, yeah. So we weren't doing these before. We restarted these for Mental Health Awareness Week. And it's nice to, because obviously I've been quite the same, haven't really spoke about anything, but just then speaking about how I was feeling, I do feel, I feel like I do these more for me, and like, because it helps me process what I'm feeling and actually discussing it and getting it out there and, sharing it effectively is just something that really helps. And just knowing that I'm not alone in my thoughts, in what I've said, and that there are obviously people out there that care, etc. That kind of, I guess I kind of missed that, but then I never really needed it. But now I need it. I feel like, yes, I should, because before I wasn't doing this because I didn't feel like I needed it, but now I do need it. And I probably realised that this is actually making me happy, and I probably should have done Mental Monday before Mental Health Awareness Week. Probably shouldn't have stopped it in the first place. But, yeah, I'm just realising how much these are helping me. That's basically what I was trying to get out then. I know that was a lot of waffle, but basically, Mental Monday helps me too. So, that's kind of the shortened version. Definitely getting darker. We're going to have a slight problem in winter in that I don't actually have a professional lighting setup. So I'll probably maybe have to get one because what's going to happen is obviously it's going to get darker. So when we do these at 7, it's going to be dark outside. Especially now it's quite bad looking at the lighting because in my room I sit next to a window. We've got laptop and then window. So, trying to, because otherwise you're just going to have this light, which is going to ruin my lighting. So, maybe something to think about. Any suggestions on lighting if you have YouTube yourself? I was looking at those little ring lights that go, like, on your phone, which could attach to my tripod, potentially. But yeah, any ideas on the lighting setup before we get to the point of winter where I'll just be like plunged into terrible shadows? Do let me know if you do have your YouTube yourself. I'm looking at the lighting and I'm looking at it on my laptop because I've got my stream up and it doesn't look that bad. The picture's a bit hazy, but then I am recording this from my iPhone's camera. I don't have like a proper camera for it, so yeah. Other than that, it looks fine now. I know the audio is bad, but then we don't have a mic, so we need a YouTube setup. Effectively, we need to get a YouTube setup for this if this is going to become a thing. And having done this, what episode are we on now? How many of these have we done since like Mental Health Week? That'd be interesting. I know we've been doing one every 2 weeks, but then we missed one off. I'd just be interested, how many of these have we actually done in this kind of new season? So we've done this one, can't count this one. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12 including this one. So we've done 12 Mental Mondays, including this one, since May. Wow, that has just gone by instantly. That has just gone by like so fast. Yeah. Wow. Oh, I need to change this. Could just be my marketing channel. So I've just looked at my YouTube channel and I'm like, yep, header image needs to go. That's my old banner. That can change. Also, I know the cover image on this says the 3rd of August, which was over a month ago. Also needs to change. We'll get round to doing that. Kind of was in the middle of doing a different website. So I just kind of jumped on stream realising the time. So, yeah. Anyway, it's good to be back permanently, which is kind of what this is probably going to be now. Oh, I was listening to a debate on LBC this morning. This is sort of eating disorder related, so potentially triggering. And it was about whether we should say that people should like work off the fat. And there's some dietitian on there, I can't remember her name. She was arguing that we shouldn't say to people. She was referring to kids in school, but it could be anyone. That you shouldn't use fat as a motivation. So saying run around the field and work off the fat, or he was arguing, they presented that it was just a bit pedantic and we should just do it. And I was looking at that and I'm like, and I just got me thinking about that actually, because I'm kind of on the fence on that one. And normally I'm really on the mental health side for most things, obviously. But on that one I was kind of on the fence because, I've not had an eating disorder, so probably being on the fence is the best place. Being nowhere near the fence, probably even better. But I just thought that, if that affects people, then yes, don't use it, but if that's their motivation to actually look different, but as long in a healthy way, then I thought that was fine. So if people have worked up too much weight, say in lockdown, and want to, now they're going out and have people to see and relatives to see and holidays to go on, want to get in shape. And yeah, I just felt, yes, we have to be careful on language, but at kind of what point do you draw the line between being careful with language and then always walking on eggshells, always being kind of cautious and then made to regret what you say, which can then lead to people not saying anything at all. And do we actually want that? And yeah, it just got me thinking a lot actually. Kind of probably deeper than I should have gone with it, but yeah, it just got me thinking about the kind of that aspect of it, and then as kind of how do we use language as a whole, with mental health. The "you're crazy" is a classic example of something that's normally used in conversation, sometimes harmlessly, but then obviously we in the mental health community, well, some of us in the mental health community don't like it, and I'm more on the side that I'd rather people speak than be afraid of saying the wrong thing. I'm more in that camp, so I'm more, yes, it can affect some people, so don't, if you don't know what is going to affect people, so don't do anything too much, don't overdo it, so, constantly saying, you're fat, you've got to lose weight, etc., that's too much, but if it's used as a motivator, in conversation to motivate, or to, I don't see a problem with that, but then you don't know what's going to trigger or what's going to affect that other person, so, yeah, it's another one of those, you can see both sides of it. And obviously, as someone that's never had an eating disorder, I take a step back because that's not my place to really comment. I just speak as an outsider trying to, I guess, weigh up both points from the mental health point of view and the kind of, we see it as those with mental health issues, etc. We have this kind of circle, and then other people have this kind of circle, and I guess I kind of fall into a trap where I actually talk like that. So, those in the mental health community, and actually having the whole idea of a mental health community, which I feel like is great, because having that mental health community is with people that have actually been through similar things to you and share your experience and do have some knowledge about mental health because they've lived experience, etc. But actually everyone's got mental health problems. Everyone's got, well, not problems, everyone's got a mental health, rather, not necessarily problems. Everyone has a mental health. Some people are fine with it. If you take the 1 in 4 that have mental health issues, that means 75% of people have fine mental health. So, yes, community is good, but then realising that everyone has a mental health and everyone has a, how we are treated by friends, co-workers, people in the street has an effect on our mental health every day. For a conversation that's turned sour, or an insult, or something that's very minor and would be kind of brushed off, is affects quite deeply sometimes, especially for me. I find that because obviously I was bullied for quite a while since primary school, and actually it's hard to shake certain things off that most people would just brush off, and while on the surface I have the ability to do that and the control to do that, in the back of my mind it's still there, and I can't really get it out of my mind. I can't really control that process. So I have the control to, brush it off on the surface and then move on, and obviously move on from it. But in the back of my mind, it's still there. And, yeah. So I feel like, if everyone can potentially get a mental health issue, do we try and ostracize people by having by talking about it in these kind of silos of mental health camp and non-mental health camp, but on the other side of that, and the side that I'm probably more with, is actually we have a mental health community because it's people that speak our language, that know what we've been through, that are there for us and have a deep sense of care and duty to help other people. And especially even if you look at, say, Twitter, and from personal experience, personal friends, people that have suffered from mental health problems that I know personally, and then on Twitter and wider community, and you've probably experienced this yourself, I certainly do experience this myself, we have a deep sense of care and a longing to help other people. And this is why I do Mental Monday. This is why I blog about mental health. I work with charities. Why I do everything I do in the mental health space is because I want to help people. And while, I didn't go down the you're a psychologist, you treat people, I share as much as I can of my personal experience to hopefully help others. And I just feel like, if everyone has the ability to get, this low mental health, we should all try and help each other anyway. We should, be kind to each other anyway. Obviously, that's an ideal world and never going to happen, but certainly a message that I wanted to share anyway. So yeah, I feel like the mental health community, there's certain people and mainly trolls on Twitter that don't get either deliberately or because they just never experienced it through themselves or a loved one mental health, and they never, because they've not, experienced it, they don't care that much, and they don't, and that's not people that are healthy for a community to have in them. So while yes, we should try and tell them about things, I feel like, we should distance ourselves from people who are going to negatively affect our own mental health as well. So definitely having a community, but then trying to link that to everyone else in society, that has maybe not had mental health directly, but still been affected by it. And how do we actually do that is in the mental health community. And to answer that question, I have no idea. It's a tricky one, especially on Twitter. You see, if you're on Twitter, I know a few of you are, it's all played out on Twitter, and it normally shows the two extremes. But in there, and what stands out to me, and which is why I love the mental health community so much, is that deep sense of care for each other and to actually be there, be able to talk to, because we appreciate how much of a difference that makes, so then we do that for others. And yeah, just hoping that more in the non-mental health camp kind of join in, and there are kind of people that are there to talk to that haven't been in the mental health camp, and they are there, but then you want everyone to be like that, which is it's an ideal world, isn't it? And on that rather sobering note, that is our half hour. So, unless anyone wants to talk about anything else, I'm going to wrap things up here now. As you can see, the light's slowly dimming. It's slowly got more dark outside, darker rather. But yeah, I've been Jake Symons. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Mental Monday, the big friendly conversation about mental health. I probably should have a shorter title. If there's any ideas for a shorter title, that would be really appreciated. Thank you so much for tuning in and talking today about mental health with me. You can find me on my website, jakesymons.com, or Twitter @JakeSWrites if you do want to catch up and say hello, or Instagram, Jake_Symons. Come and say hello. I'd love to talk to you. Even if it's just a hi, you're alright. Even if you need like someone just to talk to in the morning, really, or anytime, just stop by, say hello. And yeah, it's been great to be with you. And before it goes completely black and you can't see me at all, I am going to end the stream here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time.